things we like to do here on Natural Health Dialogue is devote a month to a particular organ of the body. And September turns out it's going to be Kidney Month.
You got it.
And so the first thing we're going to talk about on the kidneys today on Natural Health Dialogue with naturopathic Dr. Randy Lee is kidney cleansing.
Right.
Which is
You'd think I would spend some time talking about the kidneys in general before I jump off into the cleansing topic. But this year, I have a cleansing program that I use that involves cleansing some part of the body each month. And so I decided to share that with our listeners. So every month, if you look at the first blog of each month this year, we've done something on cleansing. So I thought, let's keep the theme going. And so for September, my cleanse is a kidney cleanse. And so we'll do kidney cleansing, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the function of the kidney and how it works next week on the next blog.
So isn't the kidney kind of a cleanser in and of itself?
That's exactly what the kidney does. The kidney is primarily a cleansing organ. It filters virtually every bit of blood that goes through your body. And in my blog, if you read the blog, it actually states that we get about roughly a half of a cup of blood through the kidney every minute.
Oh, wow.
It runs through pretty fast. So in a day's time, you've actually cleaned every drop of blood in your body 40 times. So it's got a lot of work that it does. It removes all the toxins from the body. However, I'm also finding out that most people have some level of weakness in their kidneys, and most people don't even realize it. And we'll talk about that next week, about some whys and wherefores that can happen and people not pay attention to it. So in general, when you're talking about kidneys, we find that my family, my dad actually went on dialysis. He passed away on his second dialysis treatment because dialysis is very hard on your heart. So we're looking at trying to find ways to make sure that we keep our kidneys healthy, because the end result, if you don't, it can be fatal. Right. It often is fatal, as a matter of fact. So my family and many of the others that I personally know have weak kidneys genetically. Now, some suffer from a genetic weakness of their kidneys, like our family does. More people suffer from a lack of care of their kidneys because it doesn't cause them problems, and it usually does what it's supposed to do. They just don't pay attention to it. And then, of course, some people bring on kidney failure by the abuse that they have by putting things into their bodies that shouldn't be there anyway. Some toxins and poisons and irritants. People who are heavy users of drugs and heavy users of alcohol, automatically, you've heard of cirrhosis of the liver,
right?
And that is tied directly to the kidney. So you can get those kind of problems in your kidney as well as in the liver. Just from alcohol use. So moderation may be okay, but overuse of any of those kinds of toxins, in addition to causing some liver damage, are probably going to cause some kidney damage as well. So as a result, you definitely need to do something to cleanse your kidneys on a fairly regular basis. So what we're going to do today is talk about cleansing in general. And if I get to kidney cleansing, the very first thing I want to talk about is water. Now, if you've listened to me for very long, any body system that I ever talk about, I mention the effects of water. There's nothing more important in our bodies than the water that we use. And so, it affects every single function of the body. And I read one medical article, I reread it again this last week trying to prepare for this, and it said that actually 66% of the body is water. That means we're made up of about 2/3 water and 1/3 other things.
Right.
So for any body system to function well, it's going to have adequate water. Now, I've done this before, but I'm going to go through it with our listeners once again. How much is adequate water? The bottom line that we use in my field is you need, as a minimum, half your body weight in ounces, with a minimum of 64 ounces. So if you're under 128 pounds, you still need 64 ounces. That's the minimum.
Right.
and to a maximum of about 100 ounces. So if you're 210 or 220, you don't need to go to that 105 or 110.
Right.
And the reason we stop at 100 is because usually you can get adequate hydration and adequate cleansing in your body out of 100 ounces. And more than that tends to wash out some essential nutrients that your body has, particularly some body salts. And when we were in school, in elementary and grade school, if we went out in the summertime and did our PE, which most people don't even have anymore, but if you were physically active and you sweat a lot, a part of the sweat that comes out of your body is an awful lot of body salts. And some of those body salts, like potassiums and sodiums, you don't want an overabundance of it, but you do have to have some for your body functions to work properly.
Right.
And so if you go over 100 just drinking, and even if you're sedentary, you can wash out some of those essential salts.
So would you recommend some kind of electrolyte to help with that?
Absolutely. If you're going to go above 100, you need some electrolytes to replenish the things that your body's washing out. But as a general rule, 64 to 100 ounces is adequate, but they should be drunk in small portions, ideally 4 ounces an hour, because that's about what your body can assimilate. Okay, enough on water there. Basically, I just wanted to say that the number one thing in taking care of your kidney is you need to have adequate water. Then we also address the not only the water as a means of hydration, but the kidneys also are needed to get rid of toxic substances in your body. The reason that it's filtering every bit of the blood in your body is 40 times a day is because the blood, in the blood is life.
Yeah.
That's biblical.
Sure.
And so the life is in the blood. So the blood is what's carrying all the nutrients to every cell in your body and picking up the waste from those cells and putting it back into the bloodstream. Well, what does they do once they get all those waste products and dead products and toxins that were in the cells? Now they're all in the bloodstream. Well, the bloodstream has to be cleaned, and the kidney is the organ that does that. It does that through a series of about over 1 million. They're called nephron filters, but they're little filtering things. And as the blood goes through there, then it filters out the toxins. Of course, there's a lot of water in there as well. And the vital nutrients and the water that are needed, the kidney then puts that back into the bloodstream so it can go back and take care of the rest of the body. But it pulls the toxins and the waste material out and dumps that into our primary waste disposal systems in the body and gets them outside the body. So that's a major thing that that's a part of the cleansing process as well. It takes the whole other things that you can do will make the whole system toxic, and if it's blocked, then you're going to be even more toxic, or you can develop kidney stones. So then getting rid of the toxic things is important, or not putting them into your body is important. About 90% of the customers that we had when we used to give a test where you could give me a saliva and urine sample,
Right.
found out that the number one thing that came up for 91% of the people is an inefficient or ineffective or toxic kidney. So the first place that the developers of that test said to start was to start with cleansing your kidney. You'd think I'd do that in January, but I've got other things that I'm doing then. But September I set aside to do a thorough cleanse, and then I'm also conscious of the water and not taking in toxins and stuff as well. So normally for most people, about the weakest organ you've got, and we've got products that are liquid that you just sip on water all day with this product in there, about 20 drops in a 16-ounce bottle of water, and it'll help to speed up the process of getting rid of the toxins.
Okay.
So
Pretty easy.
Other popular cleansing formulas are there, and we'll cover some of those in future blogs. But primarily they're activated, they're in two areas. They either activate the kidneys to do what they're supposed to do, or they actually do cleansing of the kidneys themselves. And we've got different formulas to do both of those things, but both of them serve to help the kidney with its function and to protect the health of the kidney. I end this thing by saying, keep your kidney clean and they'll serve you well. If you don't keep your kidney clean, you're destined for dialysis or toxicity within the kidney or even death.
So if I keep my kidney clean and I drink plenty of water, does that increase or decrease my chances of getting a kidney stone? I hear those are really, really painful.
They are really painful. I had one in high school, swore I'd never have another one. I can tell by listening to my kidneys when they're getting a little bit of a buildup, and I flush them with water and with juices immediately. For a guy, passing a kidney stone is very much like childbirth for a woman, or it's about like having an ice pick jabbed into your back. You don't want kidney stones, and they're buildup of minerals that haven't been washed out of the kidney.
Right.
So keep your kidney clean. Keep enough water in your system to keep everything flowing the way it should, and you shouldn't get kidney stones.
All right. Well, thanks for listening this week. We'll see you next week, and be blessed and healthy.